What's going on, guys? It has been a little while. We got back from Texas, had a great time in Texas, and you know, the car came back broken. I drove the car into the garage, and here it has sat since it's been home. So the first thing I did when I got home is I pulled the broken axle out, and I pulled out the other axle. So both of the axles have been at the drive shaft shop now for about a week. They received them, last Monday. So they've had them a week now. And Tad told me that he's switching the outers. So good news is I thought I actually had the most badass set of drive shaft shop axles for the Miata. Turns out I was wrong. They made an update since I've had my axles serviced. So before, I'm going to include a photo now. This is the axle that I had just broken, and I'm going to compare it to the axle that I had actually broken in 2018 or 2017, one of the two, when I had my 4-cylinder. So before, I had a hard radial and a stick shift setup. So I had wheel hopped and I actually broke my axle. We had the outers replaced, and I've been running on those since. So I have finally broken an axle in Texas, and you can see the two axles had actually broken the same. One was abuse and one was straight raw power. I haven't wheel hopped the new setup or anything like that. I mean, the car accelerated about a few inches, and then it broke from just sheer power. So they have actually come out with a new design of that same outer assembly. So before, it was a one-piece casted outer stub. Well, now it's actually going to be a two-piece design. So the cup will actually have splines in it, and the shaft that goes into the hub, that'll actually be a separate piece. So you can see each time it broke in the same spot, showing that it's just the indifferences of the sizing. Well, this, I've been told, is a much stronger design. Turns out my buddy Chase out in New Mexico that does all the no prep racing with his Miata, he's actually been running these axles, and he hasn't had a single issue. So I'm excited to try them on my car, but we're gonna hope to get the axles back sometime this week, and hopefully maybe possibly hit the track this weekend. So the car is in great shape. I mean, there's nothing really wrong with the car. The only couple things that I have learned while we were in Texas, besides my axles weren't strong enough, was the fact that my cooling system needs to be adjusted again. So as you know, I have my box that we made here. This connects to the top of the radiator, where my finger's at. There's a hard line. And this is the fill point of my cooling system. So the one thing I'm learning is your coolant rises and lowers. Raises and low. It expands. It expands under heat and expands under just normal abuse. Well, I don't have enough room for my cooling system to expand. So when we were in Texas, you can see now I actually have this topped off, which is probably a dumb idea, but I only topped it off. That way I know how much more room I need in the system. So as you see, I started off with a full gallon of water. I went about half. So I actually need to add about 2 quarts to my cooling system. So what will end up happening is we're gonna take this can right here. We're probably gonna chop the top off and make this a sealed can. And then I wanna build something right here that will be like an expansion tank to where I have air in it, and we can actually have it so it just holds more volume. But this being higher than here. So this will ultimately be better. So when I was in Texas, like I said, I had to drain some of the water out of the car to allow it to expand. Otherwise, I was shooting water out the radiator cap. And if you saw most of the videos of my car in the pits, you'll notice there was always a rag zip tied on my radiator cap. And that was just to make it so it wasn't spilling that bad. But that was one thing that we need to adjust. But other than that, I mean, as far as the Texas results, I didn't have any issues. For some odd freaking reason, the trans is still leaking on the tail shaft after I put another seal on it. But I'll be honest, I never actually verified my tranny fluid after I filled it up. I know I put 2.5 gallons in it, but I might have just overfilled it, and that's why it keeps dripping out the same spot. I don't know. I haven't tried turning the car on. I mean, I lied. I've turned the car on, but I've kept it in park just because I don't want to spin the drive shaft with no axles in it. The stubs are in the diff, but still, if I spin the diff, I don't want the stubs coming out. So anyway, just an update for the car. She's in great shape, from Texas at least. Now, a good bit of news coming in. They have released the dates for Drag Week 2021. Now, if some of you didn't know, we had the car registered for 2020 Drag Week, but it got canceled because of the coronavirus and all the restrictions and whatnot. So they have posted the dates. I believe it's September 13th through the 18th. And they will be running the same tracks as planned last year. So it'll be Michigan to Ohio to Indiana to Illinois back to Michigan. So it is going to be a hike for me. I mean, it's like 1,000 miles just to get up to Michigan. And then we have to start the 1,000 miles driving this thing on the street. So, I mean, it's going to be a very tiring weekend to say the least. But there's a handful of things that I need to do to this car to make it to where we're ready for that Drag Week trip. One in which being, whenever we set the motor in the car and I put my differential mounts in the car, I never actually measured my drive shaft angle. So I don't know if you ever pay attention to the in-car videos of the car, but once I get to about 60 miles an hour in the car, you notice the camera starts shaking. When I took this car on the highway right before I went to Texas just to drive around and put some miles on it, the car shakes pretty violently at 60, 65 miles an hour because the drive shaft angle is not ideal. So one of the things I'm going to have to do coming soon is we're actually going to have to remove all the front mounting of the diff and make new. So we have to measure proper angles and we will be making new mounts. I got a cool tool. I don't know where it's at. Let's see it. Here we go. I actually bought a digital angle finder. So we will be using this. And then also, and it's magnetic. I don't know if you heard that. And another thing is, right now in the differential, I have Delrin and rubber mounts. I had bought these billet aluminum mounts. So we will actually be making the diff mount solid now, which I'm looking very much forward to. Because I mean, on a car like mine, I don't care about any give. I want the drivetrain to be as stiff as possible. The other end of this is how my drive shaft sensor is I haven't actually had good readings from it because I have the little bit of give in the differential mount. My drive shaft sensor is just getting bad readings. So if I solid up my differential, I will get better readings and I'll be just better off all around. So as you see, I got a couple of brackets from Summit just to see what I wanted to use to mount the rear end. But I got this piece, and this will actually work out the best because it covers the full surface area of the bushing, and that's what we'll end up using. That's what we will end up be using. I only bought one of these so on accident, so I actually have a second one coming in this week. So the diff mount is one thing that we have to change. Another thing we have to change is my actual turbo kit. So I have the pipe that comes from this manifold. It goes under the balancer into the collector. Well, here's the thing. I didn't think it'd be that much of an issue, but as you can see, it's kind of close to the belt. And on my first drive, I took the car on the highway and I actually melted my alternator belt. I don't think I said anything about it, but it's not that big of a deal. The belts are only rated, they claim, to 225 degrees. And if it's right next to that damn runner on the exhaust, it's a lot hotter than 200 degrees. So now that the radio and everything else is situated, I mean, I have so much more room to fit that pipe. You know, I can come out much farther. We can actually come out in front of the balancer. So Mikey's already known about this for a few weeks now. So that's another adjustment we have to make. And then the other thing that I'm gonna have to do is, this has been an issue since the car's been built, period. But for some reason, my alternator is either too far forward, but it keeps pushing the belt off the crank. So I actually keep prematurely wearing the front of the belt here. So I'm gonna sit the GoPro down here so you guys can see. Ugh, very tight. So as you can see here, it's actually coming off of the belt, the pulley right there. like it's riding that edge of the pulley. So, I mean, this has been an issue for months now. So basically, there's just a couple of things I have to do to like fine tune my setup. So I think what I'm going to be doing is just putting this pulley in the lathe and actually just cutting it back just a little bit, and we'll try it and see what happens. So adjusting the alternator pulley stuff, moving that one runner, adjusting the diff, and adding a little bit more expansion to the tank, I think we'll be in really good shape. You know, this car drives really well. There's a lot of tuning I still have to do. I'm not no tuner by no means. I'm still trying to learn as I go, but I don't really log while I'm street driving. I just have my data logs from racing at the track. So I need to do a lot more drivability tuning to make it better. But yeah, I mean, I've been super thrilled. I'm still really happy with how Texas went. You know, I did shoot myself in the foot a couple times, but ultimately the car ran an 866 at 159 in the quarter mile with a stock bottom end 5.3 with, I don't know, a rookie driving and tuning. So I can't be any happier, honestly. I mean, this car was built completely by myself and with some friends. And, you know, we've done pretty well with it so far. I can definitely say she's made me happy. So just a little straightforward talking video, but I just want to give you guys an update. I do plan on working on it coming up soon. I'm just patiently waiting on the axles. And since drag week has been posted, the dates have been posted, I really need to get to the track and do a track rental because I have to fill out all my stuff to do my NHRA license. So if I run drag week without an NHRA license, we can't run faster than a 10.0 in the quarter. So that's unacceptable. So basically, if I get my drag racing license, I will be able to run up to a 750 in the quarter mile. However, the chassis I have, the roll cage, is only started for 850s. So ultimately in drag week, we will not be able to go any faster than 850s. But for the sake of drag week itself, I mean, it's a long endurance drive and race. It's a stress test on the car. My personal goal is to run an 8-second average, an 8.99, I don't care. I would like to have an 8-second average and just finish the race. That is my personal goal for the first time I go. So we're going to be getting Old Turtle situated this week. Hopefully the axles are in and at least get the car on the ground, move it around. And then in the upcoming weeks, I want to address the diff. I want to address that crossover and then also address the alternator pulley. Also, I'm still not sure what's going to happen with the drag week trailer. I don't know if I'm going to buy one or if we're going to build one. I'm hoping we can build one. I did purchase a TIG welder earlier this year and I still haven't been able to use it much. Actually, I haven't used it at all. I haven't bought a bottle for it. But I really want to do a project to build something. You know, the car's pretty much done. It's pretty much there. There's not much else I can think that I want to do this year to it, really, besides just enjoy it and keep going faster. Besides putting rods and pistons in it. You know, this is a stock bottom end motor. We are getting to a point where we're making about 900 horsepower. I would say about 1,000 horsepower at the flywheel. So rods and pistons are going to be crucial this year. But I mean, besides that, I mean, the rest of the car is pretty rock solid and it's as upgraded as I can make it without going back and redoing some stuff. So I've been so happy with this thing, man. I've been wrenching on this car for 10 years now. And I mean, it's finally become something that I am extremely proud of. You know, a lot of people are impressed with what I've done, and I mean, I'm proud to have been built it. So anyway, I just want to give you guys an update. I'm sorry this is a boring talking video. I had to give some sort of an update to tell you guys I'm still alive. The car is still doing really well. I would fire it up, but it's 11:50 at night, so I don't want to piss off the neighbors at all. So anyway, just wanted to touch base with you guys. You know, I've always appreciated the love and support you guys have given me and the Turtle over the past couple of years, past many years. The shirts are now completely sold out. However, I am in touch with Constant Designs, and we do want to make a new shirt for the 2021 season. So new Turtle merch will be coming soon. I'll be posting more information about pre-orders and stuff like that. And then I'll have some in stock and hope to see you guys at the track or at a car show and sell them to you. So anyway, thanks for watching today's video. I appreciate the support, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Thanks.